We'll be following, of course, this story throughout the afternoon and right now with Kevin Book, Managing Director at Clearview Energy Partners, and Dan Pickering, Chief Investment Officer at Pickering Energy Partners. Kevin, let me begin by asking you, the president said several times there that one of the keys to increasing supply will be to increase refining capacity. As I understand it, refineries in the United States are running very close to full capacity. That's number one. The president, correct me if I'm wrong. Number two, the president says we need to bring back online every refinery that is offline. How many of them are there, and how quickly could that be done?
Well, Tyler, to the first point, you're absolutely right. The refineries in the major refining centers, Gulf of Mexico running at 95% capacity utilization, higher than comparable weeks in previous years. Also, the East Coast, 98%. That is flat out. So if the president is calling on the major refining centers to run more, there isn't much more to run. But as you point out, if he's calling for mothballed refineries to come back, there's only so much that can be done there, too. Some of them have gone to conversion for renewable diesel. A very large East Coast refinery, Philadelphia Energy Solutions, basically caught fire and has been shut down. So we're talking about probably a universe of one or two. That is something that could take months. It is something that is sooner than building a new refinery, and it gets around environmental permitting that might be associated with expansions, but not necessarily an immediate turnaround.
If I'm not mistaken, there hasn't been a new refinery either licensed or built in this country in maybe 2 decades. Am I right on that?
No major one, no. And the reason is really because of the environmental permitting burden. And more recently, because putting capital to work when you're told it's going to be stranded is not a very compelling investment thesis.
Dan, let me turn to you. One of the things that caught my ear there, apart from the president's mentioning that nuclear power is going to be part of the energy mix going forward, which I thought was an interesting thing, was this line that the price at the pump needs to reflect the cost of the product. That's a shot at the oil companies that suggests that they are increasing their pump prices beyond the increase in crude. Explain to me what he's talking about and whether that allegation holds any water.
Yeah, Tyler, a lot to unpack in that speech. I don't think that it's an accurate statement to say that the oil companies are pushing price beyond what the inflation in the base oil price. We've seen supply and demand very tight, diesel and gasoline competing for that refining barrel. And the reality is President Biden's absolutely correct. The Ukraine-Russia situation's tacked on $1+ to a gallon of gasoline for consumers. But the reality here is that we were in a tight supply-demand environment already. Demand was fine at $3.75 a gallon. It's not at $5 a gallon. And this is a global situation. We could turn on all the idle capacity in the U.S. We would still have a tight market and high prices. So a gas tax it's an action. It's not a solution, relieving the gas tax. But the reality here is we got to get more supply into the global system, and we've got to recognize it as a global system.
All right, then let me turn back, and I'm really fascinated by that linkage between the oil that comes out of the ground, then it is refined and it is sold on a wholesale market to somebody, then it is distributed. That there's a linkage between these prices, and it's pretty fixed. It's not like somebody's, and then there's supply and demand. It's not like somebody's jacking on extra price to gouge in most cases. That's my opinion, but be that as it may. Let me go back to you, Kevin Book, and that is this. If you reduce the tax on a gallon of gas, the federal tax, the state tax, aren't you in effect doing the opposite of what you need to do, which is to say that you are increasing you will then increase the demand for gasoline, while it does nothing to help you with supply. So the result would be that the basic crude cost would go up, not down.
Yeah, when you get right down to it, inducing or preserving demand doesn't balance the market more quickly. It does offer some demonstrable evidence that the White House has done something, or in this case, called on Congress to do something. In terms of magnitude, if you go over the Biden term from Jan 2021 to date through today, we're talking about almost 2% of disposable personal income per capita eroded by gasoline price increases. A 90-day holiday of the federal gasoline tax is single basis points, so a fraction of a percent offset to that. So if we are going to see demand response to price, this isn't going to blunt it a lot. But your point is well taken. Anything you do to preserve demand doesn't balance the market.
Yeah, it doesn't balance the market at all, really, it seems to me. Anyhow, gentlemen, thank you very much. Fascinating topic, the dynamics of the oil market. Tough to get my head around, but you've helped me. Mr. Book, Mr. Pickering, thank you.